boy done got a retwist and a hat tut. I got a hat tut. Now you ain't gonna see me looking a hot ass mess in these videos no more. I'm trying to get like you out here in these streets. I got a hat tut. I got a hat tut. I got a haircut. 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 You see, I'm trying to get like you out here in these streets. Yes, you inspired me to do something with myself. So one day I was sitting down in the cafe eating, right? It was still pretty early, so the place wasn't jam-packed just yet. And then out of nowhere, people started coming in by the dozens looking like the anchovies from SpongeBob. You know which ones I'm talking about. Me. Now this begins to raise my anxiety levels. Cause I'll admit, being around too many people makes me nervous. Luckily, I'm working on getting through that. But anyways, I then begin to hear laughter coming from conversations happening around me. I then look up to see a guy staring at me with a group of his friends behind him across the room. Now let me say this. If I catch you staring at me, I'm the type of person that will stare back. Cause what in the hell are you looking at? So at this point, we're both just looking at each other. He then finally starts walking to make his way over to me. Now mind you, his group of friends are still behind him laughing and talking as he's making his way over to me. And at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, I don't know what this moment is about to be, but I'm ready. All right, let's do this. Ready, player one.
You are the last dragon.
Finally, he makes it to my table and says,
Hey, is it okay if me and my friends grab some of these chairs?
and I'm like, sure, you guys come help yourself. Don't mind me, I was just over here working on my Taibo wrist technique. Wahoo! But sure, you guys help yourself to the chairs here at this table because no one is sitting here but me.
Okay, well, thank you.
He then turns around and gives his friends the smiling thumbs up signal. They all come over and start grabbing all of the chairs from the table, saying thank you through bright white smiles, And that was the end of that encounter. But it got me to thinking, why did I think that encounter was going to be a very big moment? I definitely let my anxiety become a front seat driver in a moment where it wasn't even needed. That's probably a trauma response that I really need to look deeper into. But moving on, we're just going to fast forward to later that night when I met up with some friends, right? We all go downtown to this lounge. Much like the cafe from earlier was pretty empty for the most part. But then again came that smell. That same smelly smell that smelt smelly.
Anchovy!
They came in by the droves again. And what happened, you may ask? Across the room, I saw a group of friends stop dancing, to then start staring at me and my group of friends. Now, I'm the only person out of my group of friends who noticed this. I don't know, anytime I'm out with friends, I'm like a dog on high alert the whole night. But anyways, they stare at me, I stare at them, we stare at each other. They then lean into one another to start talking in each other's ears. Yeah, that one. And one friend out of their group does the Wi-Fi finger point to me and my crew. You know what I'm talking about, Yes, that one. They then start making their way through the crowd, moving people apart like the Red Seas. I still have my eyes on Wi-Fi fingers because that's who was leading the pack. I then get right back into thinking, okay, I don't know what this moment is about to be, but I'm ready. All right, let's do this. Ready, player one. I don't know who these people are. What do they want? or who they might have beef with in my crew, but we about to find out. They finally make their way through the crowd over to us, and then Wi-Fi Fingers walks up to me and stares and just says, "Hey, you guys are pretty lit. Can we join you?" Now I look to my left to see one of my friends like, and I look over my right shoulder to see one of my friends like, and my friend behind me then goes, "What did they just ask you? Can they join us to dance?" Record stops. We all pause and look at each other. And now it's become a crew versus crew stare down. And then,
Yeah! And I say, yeah, 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 yeah.
but moral of the story, neither one of these events played out the way I seen them going in my head. But this encounter also made me wonder, why do we let stares from people define so much about us in a moment? Just follow me here. People really don't care about what you're doing more than you care about what you're doing, if that makes sense. If I had just focused on the fact that someone was staring at me rather than the actions that followed behind the staring, all of that could have went left because of my imagination.
You can use your imagination. You can use your imagination.
I don't know why my mind just made me think of that song when I said that. I was letting my anxiety create an illusion that wasn't even real. And it also made me realize that I need to stop being so self-conscious when I'm out in a public setting. Being self-conscious led me to projecting onto innocent people who had no ill intentions of doing anything wrong. I need to remember within myself that there's nothing wrong with me or who I am, because it's my responsibility to keep myself reassured in who it is that I am, not anyone else around me, and stand firmly and confidently in that. So I shouldn't let overheard laughter or stare from a stranger define so much about who it is that I am. But to you watching this video, I want to say that there is absolutely nothing wrong with who it is that you are. Just because someone is looking at you doesn't automatically mean they're thinking something negative about you. Have you ever stopped and think that maybe you're just secretly more dope than you give yourself credit for? Remember, when in a public setting, people can see you doing anything, and I mean anything. Maybe you just have an aura about you that caught their attention. Maybe you're enjoying a book that they always wanted to read. Maybe you just look like a fun person to be around with your group of friends. Maybe they find you attractive and they're just too shy to say anything. Moral of the story, whatever it is, you are someone who deserves to be seen by people. You are someone who deserves to be noticed. So don't let a stare from a stranger change how you're moving about throughout your life. Because I'm telling you, you are a lot more in people's eyes than you give yourself credit for inside of your head. So get out of your head. Get out of that phone screen. Look up and realize that people have their own lives going on. And truth be told, they aren't paying attention to anything outside of their own bubble of life. You are a star that is meant to shine bright in every room that you're in. So let them stare at you. It just means that you're doing something right. You're standing out in the way that you need to. Look at you. Why wouldn't somebody be staring at you? I mean, what you mean? Like, come on. Come on now. But as always, this has been a commentary. You've listened to me commentate. Like, comment, and subscribe so we can grow as a family. I'm Déj'Shon, your favorite alternative black boy, and I'm out. Peace and blessings.